We all know what the video is about. This isn't portable.
Well, if we're talking about the official definition of what portable means, then yeah, you're objectively incorrect, so we're already starting the video off with a bang. But looking at the video title, Portability Is Dead, with a surprising like to dislike ratio, which is kinda crazy because as far as I'm concerned, portable gaming has never been better in 2025. Pretty much everyone in our society has a mobile gaming device tucked away in their pocket called a mobile phone. Sony has the PlayStation Portal, which tags along with the PS5. Microsoft is getting a branded Asus ROG Ally. All three versions of the Nintendo Switch are very popular. Despite my feelings towards the Switch 2, there's no denying the fact that it's doing pretty well. And from the PC side of things, you're honestly spoilt for choice with the thousands of gaming laptops around, but you also have things like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. But apparently, despite having all of this available in the world, portable gaming is dead to you. This is going to be fun.
Well, technically it is, but you have to get a whole bag or case for this,
Okay, so not only have you contradicted yourself within the first 10 seconds of your video, saying that the Steam Deck isn't portable, but then you say that it is portable, but now you're moving the goalpost by saying that, oh, you need a bag or a carrying case to carry it. Okay, it's still portable, even if you need something to carry it. By this logic, mobile phones aren't portable because you need pockets to carry them around.
I don't want to carry all that, I just want to play my games.
Or you could just not be lazy and carry it around and then play your games.
Yeah, you can play God of War on it, but let's be honest here. Do you want to? Just think about this. Just sit down and think about this. Do you want to play one of the most cinematic games of all time on a bus?
What if someone was to answer yes to that question? Are you gonna go around to their house and blow their head off? The fact that God of War 2018 is even playable on the Steam Deck to begin with should actually be a point of massive praise, especially since God of War and even Ragnarok run really well on the Steam Deck. But also, the God of War games, or just incredibly cinematic, story-driven titles, are not the only games on the Steam Deck, not even close. As far as portable games go, well, you can play Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, DS, 3DS, PSP, even Nintendo Switch games all on the Steam Deck if you really wanted to. This comes across as you cherry-picking at best and grossly misunderstanding what the Steam Deck is capable of at worst. Either way, you look like an idiot, so I don't really mind.
Look, let me clarify this before you go into the comments. I'm not saying the Steam Deck is a bad console, not at all.
The fact that you think the Steam Deck is a console to begin with honestly tells us everything we need to know. Like, the Steam Deck is a handheld gaming PC, it's basically a handheld laptop.
I actually, quite the opposite, I genuinely think it's a bargain with what they give you. But the size!
Oh boy, we're gonna get another one of these comments, aren't we? Oh, the Steam Deck is really good, it's actually a bargain considering what you get, but the size and the weight! Invest in a bigger backpack and go to the freaking gym and your problems will all be solved.
It's so fucking big!
The Steam Deck is twice the length of a smartphone. It's not the size of your mama. Please stop.
It's a good console, but unless you're always outside, is 2 hours of gameplay enough? Let's be honest.
Once again, the Steam Deck is a handheld laptop. It is not a games console. Please actually research for your videos. But also, here we have someone else who grossly misinterprets the Steam Deck's battery capabilities. Because whilst yes, obviously playing massive, deep, rich cinematic games is obviously going to drain the battery pretty quickly. But have you considered maybe not playing those games on a portable handheld? Like, if you actually took the time to invest in the Steam Deck and find out what it's actually capable of, you'd know that 2 hours of battery life is a fucking lie.
If we're gonna play games, you're not gonna sell for two. Obviously, some of you might have different times and schedules, that's all fine, but when you have the chance, the battery, you're not gonna let the battery stop you from playing games? No.
The fuck is this argument, man? Like, you could apply this to literally any device that has a battery. Oh, the Switch has a battery. Oh, it's bad because you're not gonna let batteries stop you from playing games, bro. All you've done is bring up one game, God of War 2018. It's very difficult to take your point seriously.
You want to play more. I can genuinely see the people who would absolutely love this, and I love it too.
Oh, I really hate the battery life, guys. It's such an inconvenience. Oh, but don't worry, I really love the Steam Deck. Oh, why would you want to play God of War 2018 in a public place with the Steam Deck? Oh, don't worry, guys, I really like it. Your asshole would get splinters if you sit on the fence for much longer.
But there's a line between it being portable and an inconvenience.
The Steam Deck is an inconvenience. Don't worry, guys, I still love it. Like, are you serious, dude?
The idea of portability is that it's comfortable to go anywhere with.
No, the idea of portability is to be easily carried or move, especially because being of a lighter or smaller version than usual. The Steam Deck is a lighter and smaller PC than a full rig. As a result, it meets the definition for portability, especially since the Steam Deck, in my opinion at least, is a very easy device to move around and use. This kinda just seems like a you problem. Also, it's a little ironic you showing footage of the PSP when the Steam Deck can literally play PSP games.
You don't need to play AAA games on the go.
Okay, and what if you wanted to play AAA games on the go? Because the Steam Deck allows you to do both.
Games that are specifically designed to be cinematic and use immersion to attract players are thrown out the window when you're on a bench surrounded by people.
So by your own admission, those games aren't very rich in terms of gameplay, because the only appealing thing to them is the cinematics and the story and the dialogue. Wow, they don't sound like very good games to me, at least. I mean, call me crazy, but the thing I want most from a video game is really good gameplay. And again, I love that he fails to mention that both God of War games run like a dream on the Steam Deck.
The game loses all sense of immersion and just becomes, well, a game.
If all you care about in a video game is rich cinematics and story, go watch a fucking movie. Or why don't you just watch all the game's cutscenes on YouTube? Like, I'm sorry, this is just a you problem.
Obviously, this doesn't apply to every single game, but still, not all games need to be played outside.
Okay, and what if someone does want to play the God of War games outside? Are you gonna come round to their house and cut their arms off? Because at the end of the day, the Steam Deck allows you to play those games outside on the go if you really want to. I wouldn't super recommend it because it drains the battery life pretty quick, significantly quicker than other games, but it's an option you have available to you.
Did you think the people who made The Last of Us designed the entire game to be experienced on the go? I'm just gonna give you 5 seconds.
I don't give a shit what the developers intended. If it's compatible with the Steam Deck and runs really well on the Steam Deck and I fancy playing it on my Steam Deck, I am gonna play it on my Steam Deck, and who the fuck are you to tell me I shouldn't? You're sounding more and more like a corporate bootlicker as this video goes on.
If you said yes, I have to respectfully ask you to leave before YouTube demonetized me for what I'm about to say.
Oh, what's that? Someone disagrees with my dogshit opinions? Oh, go fuck yourself.
They made the game so you could experience it to its full potential at home.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
All the developers care about at the end of the day is making a fantastic video game, and if it can be playable and enjoyed on the Steam Deck, then that's all that should matter. I don't know why you're trying to move the goalpost this badly just to defend your dogshit points.
Where the only thing you can focus on is the story.
Again, if all you care about in a video game is the story, go watch a fucking movie or watch all the cutscenes on YouTube. The rest of us actually care about gameplay. It sounds like you genuinely hate the idea of playing a video game that doesn't rely on stories or big cinematics. Or in other words, you're coming across as a Sony pony.
The game can't give me reasons to feel the story when I'm on a bus or a plane or even at a f***ing wedding.
And that's the game or the Steam Deck's fault how exactly? Like, if you're choosing to play these games in a crowded environment, that's on you, bro. Also, why are you playing video games at a fucking wedding? Are you kidding me? What's next? You're gonna say that the Steam Deck is shit because you can't enjoy it at a funeral? It sounds like the solution to all of your problems is noise-canceling headphones.
Sure, yes, I agree. It's nice to play these high-quality games on the go.
High-quality games? Bro, are you serious? You just admitted like 2 seconds ago that the game has basically nothing to offer if you can't get immersed in the story. That doesn't sound very good quality to me. And also, once again, you're failing to mention the insane roster of games that the Steam Deck can actually play.
But just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Okay, just because you can make a video on the Steam Deck doesn't mean you should if your points are as dogshit as yours.
That's not to say that there are games that I would love to play on the go, like Slime Rancher, Blueprints, or even Hades.
Okay, you have the solution to your problem then. Don't play God of War on the go if it upsets you this much. You just listed like 3 other games that you would prefer playing on the go. Just play those. You just whined for the last few minutes about not being able to be immersed in God of War. You presented a solution to your problem, that being a handful of games that you can play and enjoy on the Steam Deck, and yet somehow the Steam Deck is still shit. And also, what does any of this have to do with portable gaming being dead? Like, what is it with YouTubers just fucking clickbaiting like this?
Because they're not focused on giving you an experience. Well, yes, they're giving an experience, but
Someone call for an ambulance. We're gonna need someone to remove all the splinters from this guy's asshole because of all the fence sitting.
what I mean is that they don't need a lot of brain power to like, oh, I have to just sit and just immerse myself in the world and the story. No, they're not. They're just focused on having fun. You're just playing the game just like, oh, I'm having so much fun.
Okay, and what's wrong with having fun on the Steam Deck? Not every game needs to be incredibly immersive like the Sony slot.
That's the point. That's the point. Not to say that these AAA games aren't fun. Well, some of them, but like, we're not gonna talk about those, is it? But still, they're constrained on what they can offer when you're outside affected by external factors.
You can make that argument against literally every portable device in history. Oh, playing on your DS isn't the same if someone dropped dead right in front of your eyes. Oh, playing a PSP isn't that fun if you're playing in a burning building. Like, what are these arguments? The only thing you really mentioned is, oh, playing video games would suck if you're on a crowded bus or if you're playing games at a wedding, but have you ever thought about not doing that? Like, there's a time and a place for everything, my guy. Or you could just invest in noise-cancelling headphones if you're that desperate to play video games.
Literally, the best example for this is the Nintendo Switch. The reason the Nintendo Switch sold so well was because it was not only portable, but it also can be played on your TV.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
If that's the case, please explain to me why the Nintendo Switch outsold the PlayStation 5 and the Series X consoles, even though those consoles are primarily made for playing games at your TV. Please explain to me why the Nintendo DS outsold almost every video game console ever. You're not going to explain these points to me. It's almost as if you're making up shit and hoping it sticks.
Their exclusive games took into account that it could be played on the go.
And the Steam Deck is different how exactly? Like, you can play basically any portable video game on the Steam Deck, including the Game Boy games, the DS games, the PSP games, and even the Switch games. Also, I guess we're going to ignore the PlayStation Portal, which literally allows you to play Sony's very big immersive video games on the go. I guess we're going to pretend that doesn't exist.
You can play Super Mario Odyssey anywhere you want because it doesn't need a lot of brain power to like enjoy the game. Like,
you can make that same argument against PlayStation's games because the PlayStation Portal exists. Like, how is this an argument?
there is a story, but like, you're not playing Super Mario Odyssey because of the story. Let's be honest here. You're just playing to have fun.
Yeah, and that's why on average Nintendo's games are way better than PlayStation's games, because they make the game with gameplay being the forefront. They don't give a shit about, oh, big fancy graphics or story. No, they care about the game being really fun, and more often than not, they succeed at that. And again, it's a little awkward you saying all of this when you can literally play Switch games on the Steam Deck.
There are games on the Steam Deck that are pretty fun on the go, but look at the fucking size. Look at the size. It's too fucking big.
So once again, you agree that there are some really good games to play on the go on the Steam Deck, which basically just defeats everything that you were arguing the first half of your video. And also, you try to do a size comparison and once again say that, oh, the Steam Deck, it's way too big. It really isn't that much bigger than the Nintendo Switch. And funnily enough, it's actually lighter and very similar in size to the Switch 2, so little awkward.
A lot of people don't consider the Nintendo Switch to be a new gen console because of how weak it is, and my response to that is, okay, like, sure, yeah, Have you played any of their games? Like, I'm sorry you can't play Red Dead Redemption 2 on it, but let's be honest here, it defeats the whole purpose of the Switch.
The Nintendo Switch is ass and has terrible performance for a handheld. Oh, but you can't criticize it because it defeats the point of the Switch. So the point of the Switch is to be shit by your own logic? But I love what he says at the end. Oh, but have you played any of those games? Yeah, I have. On my Steam Deck. What's your point?
The best games on the Switch aren't realistic AAA games.
Okay, I don't care. I can play them on the Steam Deck. Please find new arguments. And also, what the fuck does any of this have to do with handheld gaming being dead?
When you have a game like Breath of the Wild, it's evidence that graphics are not the only thing that makes a game good.
Well, that's funny because in the first half of the video, you were whining about the fact that God of War, a very graphically demanding game, can't be enjoyed on the Steam Deck, so make your fucking mind up.
I have a genuine beef with people who are saying, if it's not realistic, then it's a bad game. It's like, you complain about the game that's not realistic when it clearly, it's trying to invoke an art style, a design. And if you're complaining that the Nintendo Switch can't handle realistic graphics, it's a goddamn toaster. It has 4 gigs of RAM. Sadly, companies now are focusing on power more than portability.
Or you have the devices like the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally, which do both.
So, I picked 3 portable consoles with not only good-ass games, but portability to the point that it can fit in your pocket.
Okay, so you're moving the goalposts as to what you think portability actually is, because I remind you, this is what the definition of portable is. By the official definition, the Steam Deck is a portable device. The next part of the video is him basically shilling for free portable game devices that he really likes. I'm not sure why he's doing that if the title of the video is Portable Gaming is Dead, but hey, go off I guess. We're gonna look at his points and see if they actually make sense.
The Nintendo Switch Lite is superior. It is the most modern out of the 3 consoles that I'm about to talk about. It also has the most up-to-date games in general. Like, you can play Hogwarts Legacy on it, you can play Monster Hunter Rise on it. The size is perfect. Like, it's not too big and chunky, and it's not too small and slippery. The grip is good. Like, I gotta be honest, the grip is good because it's small enough that it can fit in your whole hand. The problem that I had with the base Switch was it was too big to the point that my hands couldn't grip the whole thing. Obviously, the D-pad. The D-pad on the Switch Lite is so much better. Oh my god, it's so much better. I did not understand how much I needed a D-pad until I used a basic controller. Plus, if you jailbreak it, it has so much potential, my god. If you like Nintendo games but also want a variety from other studios, the Switch is perfect. This Switch, not this one, this one.
So the first device that he shills for is the Nintendo Switch Lite, which is hilarious because it is literally a stripped down Switch, and the Steam Deck is better to the Switch OLED in literally every way. The Steam Deck runs games at a greater resolution, better frame rates, the games are generally cheaper on the Steam Deck, it has a much bigger screen, and you can play games with mods, features that are all unavailable on the Switch Lite. And it's funny that he brings up jailbreaking the Switch Lite, and he doesn't bring up emulation on the Steam Deck, but that's not my fucking business. Really, the only points he brought up for the Switch Lite which are actually good is having a D-pad, which is nice, and the fact that it is really, really small, although it's pretty difficult to take his size preference seriously when he thinks that the Nintendo Switch is massive. I personally think that the Switch OLED, the biggest version of the Switch, was tiny, but hey, it's just personal preference, I guess. Now let's move on to the second device that he shills for.
The PS Vita, in my opinion, is the most underrated console in general. In general, it's such a powerful console for its like, this console can genuinely fit in your pocket. The fact that it can run Borderlands 2 shows the wasted potential of the Vita. Since the death of the console, the modding community has given it life. See what I did there? That was you have to have real ball knowledge to understand what I just said. The PS Vita has Risk of Rain 1, God of War 1 and 2, the Ratchet & Clank trilogy, Hotline Miami 1 and 2, Little Big Planet, Persona 4 Golden, and Gravity Rush, and like so much. It has so many. It has Undertale. Like, you can play Undertale. If you're not interested in these games, then there are emulators. Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, Nintendo DS. Yes, it can run Nintendo DS. The modding community has put ports into the game. They put Hollow Knight in this. They put Sonic Mania. They put Cuphead. They even put Balatro. They put Balatro. Yes, it runs like shit with 20 frames and no sounds. And I don't know what happens if you play with fucking Baron and 3 blueprints and a fucking mine. I hope Disney comes still. It runs Balatro. I'm not gonna complain. If you're not interested in these either, well, you can play all the PSP and PS1 games. All this thanks to the modding community. The PS Vita is the most rounded console. It has so many games for anyone. Plus, the camera. The camera gives you that nostalgic feeling of the early 2000s, and honestly, I with that. To this day, the PS Vita are still porting games on it. You can even play Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2 on it. Overall, the Vita is the console that will stay with you in the long run. It will. Like, I had this PS Vita for 2015, and I'm still playing on it. I'm not kidding. I'm still playing the PS Vita. Still, right now. I'm playing Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and I'm kind of addicted, to be honest. Some of you guys might not like the design of the Vita, and that is why might segue, not to an ad, no one will sponsor me sadly, segue to the next handheld, which is...
Okay, literally every point you made for the PS Vita applies to the Steam Deck. Every single game you mentioned, which is hilarious because you mentioned that some games, like Borderlands 2, runs like shit on the Vita, yet you're still gonna shill for it anyways, runs at better performance and better resolutions on the Steam Deck. It's also extra ironic that you actually talk about emulation for the PS Vita, proving that you do know that emulators exist, but for some reason when it comes to the Steam Deck, miraculously you forget all about them, and God of War 2018 is the only game for that device. The Steam Deck has objectively better emulation than the PS Vita, like that goes without saying. Not only does it have access to way more games, but it also has access to things like mod support and generally way better game performance. And also, even in the footage that you were using, the PS Vita looks uncomfortably small. Like, I'm sorry, but that looks unacceptably bad. I would not be caught dead playing a device that small, I'm sorry. But yeah, once again, every single point you made applies to the Steam Deck, and the trade-off for having way worse game performance and resolution and a tiny screen and no mods is, oh, it fits in your pocket, guys. Now let's look at the third and final handheld portable device, even though I thought portable gaming was dead, supposedly.
The PSP is a juggernaut. I love the PSP. I love it so much. You thought the PS Vita was good? You haven't even seen the PSP. This is exactly what I mean when console limitations can be an advantage. Take, for example, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Yes, a whole-ass Metal Gear Solid game on the PSP. Actually, I lied. 2 whole-ass Metal Gear Solid games, which is Metal Gear Solid Portable Hubs, but Peace Walker is more superior, so I'm gonna talk about that. You like Metal Gear Solid 5 with the mother-based system and the photons and development of weapons? Do you like the stealth of Metal Gear Solid 3 with all the camouflage and having a stealth meter? Well, combine all these, and what you get is Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. I cannot state how good this game is on such a small console. It's not only the best Metal Gear Solid game on the PSP, it's one of the best Metal Gear Solid games in general. Because of the console limitation, Peace Walker's story is shown as a visual novel, but I think it wasn't because of the console itself. When you first start the game, there is clearly a cutscene, but the cutscene transitions to a visual novel. Kojima explicitly chose to make it a visual novel because it's the PSP, it's a portable console. Even if you don't like reading, the game is fully voice acted. Kojima clearly made the game with portability in mind, and this is exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, dude, you immediately lost all credibility when you tried saying that console limitations are actually an advantage. Like, you are such a Sony pony, I'm sorry. But once again, this device, like the PS Vita, looks uncomfortably small, and it looks very uncomfortable to play games on. And also, the Steam Deck has emulators for PSP games, meaning that that Metal Gear game that you love so much, you can play it at a better quality and a better resolution, better frame rates, and mod support on the Steam Deck. So again, all of your points, throw them out the window.
Companies should make portable handhelds for studios that understand that it's portable. Obviously, not every PSP game did it like Kojima, but the games on the PSP are genuinely made for the PSP.
Okay, this is a dogshit argument, especially since you yourself brought up emulators for the PS Vita. And apparently, oh, the PSP is really good because the games are made for it. Okay, so why did you talk about emulators for the Vita? It comes across as you just having a blind hatred for the Steam Deck, I'm sorry. By your logic, all third-party games are dogshit because they weren't specifically made for a specific platform.
The Steam Deck isn't portable not only because it's too big, but also a lot of the games aren't made for portability.
By definition, the Steam Deck is a portable device, and also every portable game in history is playable on the Steam Deck. You can play Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, PSP, and even Switch games on the Steam Deck. You are wrong.
If you genuinely like portability and want good games, then I'd recommend the PSP, hands down.
And if you want a portable device that's objectively better to the PSP in every way, go for the Steam Deck.
It has the best designs, the best control, it can actually fit in your pocket. This is smaller than your phone. Same with the PS Vita. If you don't like playing the PSP games on it, you can run emulate. Like, imagine playing Pokemon on this. Yeah.
Emulators exist on the Steam Deck. We also have better emulators than you do because we have mod support for every game that we can emulate, and also the fact that we can just play a wider variety of games. Like, we can play Xbox 360, PS3, even Switch games on the Steam Deck. This isn't an argument you're going to win. Pretending that emulation doesn't exist on the Steam Deck isn't an argument.
The PS Vita can play emulators, and technically it can maybe play more emulators than the PSP, but still, it's all about the vibe. It's all about the vibe, and the PSP is the magnum opus of cool, sleek design. There is nothing more important to me than the absolute aura and vibe of a console, and the PSP is the definition of that.
Well, by your logic, the Steam Deck has more aura than the PSP because it literally does what the PSP does, but better in every single way, but that's not my fucking business, I guess. Your video was clickbait because you claim that portable gaming is dead, even though you actually said at one point that you really like the Steam Deck, which again, this fence sitting of yours isn't healthy. You claim that you really love the aura of a game console, which, if anything, just makes you come across as a console fanboy. And you blindly shill for free handheld devices that are objectively inferior to the Steam Deck in almost every way. So yeah, this video was a complete joke. I hope you've enjoyed going through it with me. I thank you all for watching. I consider liking and subscribing the video if you really enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of the video down below. I thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.